To be completely transparent with you, I may seem like I know everything, but I don't. It may seem like I've never ever tried quitting running a business, but I have. I've had this mentality or even this idea so many times until I found this book. You can't see it. Hopefully you can see it. It's called The Dip. I was watching a YouTuber ages ago and they posted this book saying that it should be something every entrepreneur should read. And I read it and there's some valuable lessons in there. The book is extremely short, but it has a very, very powerful graph which summarizes everything. Excuse my bad handwriting, but here you can see the result, year of effort. So this is what the dip is. The main quote in that book is, everything worth doing in life is controlled by the dip. You know, when you start any business, any endeavor in life, you get to a phase, the dip, where it feels like nothing's happening. It feels you're stagnant. It feels like you might even be declining. And you get to a stage where you're like, is this even the right business for me? Is this the right environment for me? Is this the right mechanism to create generational wealth for me? So everyone goes through that, and that whole book summarizes why you should carry on pursuing your dreams and keep pushing, because eventually there's an exponential graph. The thing about life and business, it's not a linear graph ever. It might even be an S graph. So like this, if you know how it goes. But yeah, you could be learning, developing your skills, trying to pursue your dream, but you're always in a rut. You don't really know where's the next step. It seems like you've hit a wall and it seems like there's no hope for you. But if you keep pursuing and you keep trying to become a better version of yourself and doing the right thing in your business, you will get over this dip. So Steph highlights 3 main problems in the book. The first problem is shining object syndrome. The second problem is not quitting fast enough. And the third problem is trying to do everything. After this video, you will know exactly when to carry on pushing through, or maybe you should try something else. So the first lesson is, the dip is a learning phase. Repeat after me. The dip is a learning phase. What I mean by this, sometimes you just don't know what you're doing. So in this phase of the dip, which it could be 1 year, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 years, this is a place where you should be acquiring as much knowledge as possible. I remember back in 2020 when I had my ad agency, which was my first agency and my first business model while I was at university. I had to buy some courses. Yes, I bought some courses from these gurus, and some of them were not, as I said, not good, but some of them was actually very life-changing. You need to try your best to acquire as much skills as possible. If it's having mentorship, maybe going through courses, going through YouTube, or just doing stuff and speaking to people, but you need to actually be learning stuff, or you're going to be in the dip forever because you're technically not learning. This is why if you're in the UK, there's always this scheme called the apprenticeship. I did go to university, but some people decided to have an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is basically when you finish school, either 16 or 18 years old in the UK, you then get paid extremely low, but this gives you a gateway to enter the industry you want to go into. So let's say you wanted to become an aeronautical engineer, or a mechanic, or a builder, or a plumber. Now you can learn the trade for, yes, very low pay, but you're learning the trade and you're becoming a better person. So this is technically what the dip is. This is a phase where you're learning. You're learning how business goes. You're learning more about yourself, and you're learning what skills you can acquire to make yourself a better person. This is why sometimes some of these great entrepreneurs, this is not the first rodeo. So if you look like the PayPal Mafia, so the PayPal Mafia is a group of people at the early stage of PayPal who all are billionaires now. You have people like Elon Musk was there, obviously, David Sachs was there, Peter Thiel was there, Reid Hoffman was there, and all of these people I'm naming, guess what? They founded LinkedIn. They founded Palantir. They founded YouTube. David Sachs is now in the presidential office as their crypto czar. I always listen to his podcast on the All In podcast, which I would recommend you guys doing. Because they were in this phase, they all became better versions of themselves. As I noticed, they all became successful in that PayPal mafia because they were all around each other. Iron sharpens iron, and that's why in the link to the description, I have a paid community of only people doing 500k a year or more. These are vetted people. The reason for this is like the PayPal. You're around like-minded people. Now you can learn from them. You can become a lot better. Skills you don't have, other people who have done it before in Wellington community can identify. So make sure apply for this only if you're doing 500k a year minimum. Trust me, it's a very, very tight group and you have to be vetted by the founding members. So there's a high chance you may not even get a let in. But you never know. As I said, the dip is an audition. Maybe you're not ready for this life-changing trajectory to happen right now. So be patient because you are learning skills. So that's why you need to make sure you're always learning skills, of course. In addition, without any dip, there's no scarcity. So if anyone could make it without a dip, you wouldn't feel special. This whole idea of being an entrepreneur wouldn't be special. That's what separates the mediocre people from the winners, from the killers. Everyone has to go through this dip. To go from mediocre to a winner, you have to go through a dip. But a lot of people will fiddle out because they won't be able to go through that dip. Then to go from a winner to a killer, there's another dip you have to go through, which you've probably never been around these people, unless you're in Wellington, of course, my community. There is a purpose for this dip. And thirdly, the dip is a shortcut. All these gurus telling you there's a lazy way, there's a fast way. No, there's not. You have to go through the dip. This is a shortcut. Going through the dip, learning, becoming a better person, having like-minded people around you, learning more about your craft, learning more about the industry, become a very studious person, improving your mindset, and then you may be able to go through the dip if you're obviously in the right vehicle and the right industry at the right time. Because there is a little bit of luck about this. You need to have macro patience. Oh my days. The dip is a lot longer. Whatever you, the timeline you think the dip is going to be, times up by 10. That's how long the dip is. The dip is never as long as you think it is. So you think the dip's going to be 2 months, it's probably 10 months. You think the dip's going to be 1 year, it's probably 10 years. Kind of. Like, the dip is a lot longer than what you imagine. Let me just make that clear. So if you're thinking there's going to be a fast way to make money, bro, sis, go. It's not working. You're not going to do it unless you're very, very, very special, which is highly unlikely, even though you think you are. So it will take time, but just embrace it. Like the hustle. Because when you get to the end of your goal, you will realize, let me change the goalpost. So the main thing you do like is not the outcome, but it is the journey. Enjoy the hustle. People in American football always say enjoy the process. Just enjoy it. I love the process. I love grinding. I love hustling. That's just the type of person I am. With every lesson, there's a task. So what is the main task for this lesson? Steph said, knowing that you're facing a dip is the first step in getting through it. So the first task is prepare yourself mentally for a dip. Know a dip is coming. That's why I really want you guys to read biographies. Please, anyone, just read a biography. If it's of Richard Branson, Larry Ellison, Sam Waltman, anyone, just read a biography. Even if it's a footballer or a basketballer, read it. Just so you can know there's dip that's gonna come. So you need to mentally prepare yourself for a dip. Therefore, you can celebrate the small wins because you know a dip's gonna come. You can be in a community, i.e. Wellington, of where other people are going for the same thing, so you know it's going to happen. You could lean into it, know that you're actually doing something right if there's a dip. Obviously, I'll tell you later in this video, that's if you're going through the right path. So you may be asking, should I be grinding and hustling at anything? The answer is no. So what Steph said in the book is, winners quit all the time. They just quit the right stuff at the right time. Let me read it again. Winners quit all the time. They just quit the right stuff at the right time. So I'm not saying you shouldn't quit, but you have to quit when it's the right stuff at the right time. Lesson number 2, know when to quit. You have to quit at the right time. You can't be grinding and hustling for the wrong stuff always. You technically wasted your time. Yes, it's going to be extremely hard for your first rodeo, for your first business adventure, to know when you should quit or if you shouldn't quit. But here's some bullet points that I kind of wrote down. I just want to share. So some questions you can ask yourself. Do you feel deeply called to do this? As I said, do you have a deep intrinsic value? If you do, maybe it's the right vehicle. Do you love the process of doing it? It all aligns to, do you have an intrinsic value? Is it hard in a good way or in a bad way? Yet again, you need to have an intrinsic value. Be like, what am I doing? Is it hard? Like, am I enjoying this hustle? Am I not enjoying this hustle? And the most important question is, what are the potential outcomes? For example, in this market, am I gonna get success? Bearing in mind, everyone's value of success is different. My value of success could be an exit at 500 million. Someone's value of success could be a cash flow business for a nice lifestyle. Another person's way of success could be to be able to travel remotely while working on a little side hustle. So you need to know, what are the potential gain I could get from this business? Always ask yourself that, please. You know, with me, with every lesson, there's a task. So this is task number 2. Write down some of these questions and write down the answers. You may not have the answer in one sitting. It may take you a week of thinking, of pondering. What are the answers to these? And most importantly, see what the upside of this business is. See if you're going to enjoy it. See if it's something you actually want to spend the rest of your life to do. I don't really like when people build a business to sell. Yes, that's a good thing or a bad thing, but see if you can be in this hustle and be in this dip for maybe 5 years. If not, don't do this business. Don't take this business vehicle. Try a different business vehicle. But make sure you write it down, please. Don't just watch these videos. I don't like when people just watch these videos. No. Take my task and act upon it. Don't just be listeners of what I'm saying, be doers of what I'm saying. You can also give yourself little milestones, but I'm a little bit opposed to this because you may be like, in year 1, I want 500,000 subscribers, or in year 1, I want to have an ARR of 10 million. Be very realistic and know that these milestones may change, but you should have some small wins by like, oh, I should be doing this at this time. This is all questions and struggle you need to go through to be a true entrepreneur. So I can't really tell you exactly what your milestone should be, but you will eventually figure it out. I believe in you because you're watching this video. Another quote I like in this book is, if you can't make it through the dip, don't start it. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Being a founder of a unicorn business is not for everyone. Having a 10 million exit is not for everyone. Being a leader of a company or a CEO is not for everyone. Know that. So if you can't make it through the dip, don't start it. Don't start this business because you will have a dip. Yes, I have another graph for you. I'm not good at writing, neither am I good at drawing. But try to understand. I'll go through it with you. So, I know you can read this. There's 2 types of dips. The dip and the cul-de-sac. So a good dip is when this progress is slow, but it has potential. You kind of get what I mean? But a bad dip is, it's just a dead end. For you to identify this, yes, it's going to be hard, but you will be able to figure it out. Trust me. But just be mentally prepared that there are 2 different types of dips. And if your dip is like the cul-de-sac, go, like, change your vehicle. It's not the right dip. But if your dip is more like The progress is slow, but there's big upside. Carry on pushing. Carry on pushing. You will get through it. The final lesson, lesson number 3. You cannot do everything. You can't. Spreading yourself... Me, I'm struggling to speak. Spreading yourself thin is definitely the wrong thing to do. Pick a specific task you need to do and do that. Whatever your task is, if it's growth. Yes, at the start of a business where you have no employees, you're doing everything. But once you can delegate, start hiring and hire top talent. If you hire the wrong person, you're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate yourself. One key thing I always hear from successful people: hire slow, fire fast. Hire slow, fire fast. Take your time to hire the right person. Vet them. Make sure they're the right person. Once you've hired them, even if it's in 2 days or a week, and they're not the right person, get rid of them. You don't want a wolf in your pack of sheep. You do not want it. It can kill your business. You could be an amazing entrepreneur, amazing operator, but if you hire the wrong person and you keep them there, it's over. It's like having leprosy. If once you have it one place, it spreads. It spreads everywhere. It spreads everywhere, and eventually your business will die. Trust me. Hire extremely slow, but fire even faster. So the third task is carry on hustling. Know you have a dip. Once you hire, please make sure you hire the right position and the right person. And if they're not good enough, get rid of them. If you need more advice on this, specific advice, and you're actually creating a real business with at least 500k AR, join Wellington. The link is in the description below. And in that community of vetted entrepreneurs, we will be able to help one another so we don't make the mistake that previous people have made. YouTube algorithm is extremely good. So the video they're suggesting here, I would advise you to watch.